Hi, everybody. 8 o'clock on this Saturday evening, January 24th, as we track wintry weather moving through the Tennessee Valley. So getting basically everything's falling as rain. However, it depends on your surface temperature and the temperature of surfaces out there, which is lying for freezing rain. And that's all this pink and red and kind of salmon color. That's what that represents. Eventually, all rain is these surface temperatures are getting above freezing. And to give an example, I went outside our parking lot. We're kind of at about 30. So we're a little below freezing. But on the sidewalk and the road, it's not a problem. You know, it's been kind of warm, kind of insulated, but there's a picnic table, there's a lamp post, there was my windshield. It's still a coating of ice. So again, you're still seeing that accumulation of ice on surfaces that are below freezing. And when this will be an issue, at least for a while, until these temperatures start moving up, it's going to be especially at higher elevations, in trees, where that ice accumulation continues to grow because those surfaces remain below freezing. If you get too much ice accumulating, then of course you could cause them to snap and cause some power outages in spots. And we're hopeful to limit that, but gradually throughout the night, temperatures are projected to gradually start to warm. I know that goes against what you typically have at night, but with a southerly wind flow coming in, that gradual rise in temperature will gradually help ease the situation. But it's going to happen at all different rates throughout the night. We've talked about that for days now and how that's going to happen at just different rates out there throughout the nighttime hours. But again, thanks for those of you joining me. We'll get to some of the comments here in a second. And let me back this up and go right to our main page and just show you the headlines for the nighttime hours and what we're tracking for the next couple of days, because we still have a lot of weather to talk about for the next several days going in stages here. We started with the little light snow and sleet this morning. That was the fun part. And now we're dealing with the wet part coming up here. And it just gets worse from here with the cold air coming in. But here we go. So tonight, it's mainly going to go from freezing rain to rain. And not every bit of it's falling as rain, but it's only freezing rain when it freezes on contact on a surface. Pretty much the sleet kind of done. There'll still be spots where you get it, but kind of done. Overnight temperatures gradually rising. It will be at different rates. At higher elevations and at the surface, there are still, I mention all the time, these colder valley pockets where the temperatures hold on and are stubborn to warm. So it's going to be having to get different rates. And of course, the longer duration means you may have icing a little while longer. All the while, this all becomes rain on Sunday, and very heavy rain at that. So it'll help wash away the ice. So we go from an icing situation to heavy rain on Sunday. It's going to be a cold rain and kind of windy out there. Temperatures may go as high as mid-40s in spots. A nice warm up. You might even have some thunder. Yeah, some thunder on Sunday afternoon. And then the runoff from all that heavy rain on Sunday could lead to a little bit of black ice on early Monday morning. I think many areas will dry with the wind coming in, but with so much rain coming in, there's going to be a runoff and some icy patches to watch for. And then all the while, it's going to be bitterly cold. To start the week. True Arctic blast, probably some of the coldest air of the season so far coming in into early next week. So again, as we watch this transition tonight, it's important to note, as I've noted many times during our coverage this week, just a small change of temperature changes everything from icy to wet. And that's what we're watching right now. And that's not really our main time frame. It's right now all the way to about midnight and then afterward, gradually getting warmer across the area. Very, very slow pace. So let's look at some of the temperatures out there. We'll start across the region first of all. And we've been sitting at 30 in Chattanooga for the past several hours or so. Notice to the south, nice and balmy there. The wedge in Atlanta, which typically keeps them colder, is kind of setting up just northeast of the metro area there. And then over us, we're starting to get a little bit more of that southeast wind flow. There's a trough right here backing up that's allowing those temperatures up above us to really warm. That's why we're no longer seeing sleet or snow. With it being so warm up there, it's all falling as rain. And then again, hitting the surface where it's below freezing as freezing rain. So eventually some of that warmth will reach the surface there, but then back here, back to the west of that upper level trough, where you got really cold air, temperatures in the teens, right around 20. Crazy. Okay, here are the local temperatures. And again, look at this drastic change from Dalton to Rome, 15-degree difference. Look at Fort Payne, 40. Scottsboro, 34. So all of these are teetering just at or just above freezing. Dalton and Chatsworth came down a degree or two the past couple of hours as more moisture came in. As the column of air moistens up, the temperature drops back closer to the dew point. And that's why temperatures there are back near freezing. But again, here we've been hovering right around 30, 31. They're coming up a little bit slowly. Murphy was in the 40s, now into the 30s, but still that southeast wind pushing in. That's why icing is not as much of a problem right now in Cherokee or Polk or even in Monroe County for that matter. But eventually these will start climbing just a bit, which I'll show you in the future track. And again, it's going to happen at different stages and paces throughout the night. So a slow improvement as we go through the nighttime hours for sure. There again's the radar. And again, everything's moving generally in an east, northeast direction. We'll put that into motion there, at least try to. There we have it. So again, the pink represents freezing rain. So everything is liquid falling from the sky. It's just freezing on contact to some surfaces. Other areas, it is just 33 raining, not a problem. And anytime you're dealing with ice situation, that's where you want to be. You want to be 33 degrees or higher and just rain. And for many people, that's going to be the case throughout the night, and that's a good thing. Okay, that'll eliminate any icing and basically just a wet night, and that's okay with me. That's what we want. Nobody wants an ice storm, okay? But until we get to that point, everybody above freezing, we got to worry about these areas that may see at least a little bit of icing during the nighttime hours. Expanding the view a bit, you can see the coverage really starting to pick up, okay? Very heavy rain, a lot of mixing going on back here. There's going to be more significant icing in this area from northwest Alabama, northeast Mississippi, back near Tupelo. Really heavy icing there. And for us, with that nudge of warmth coming in, it'll start pushing away that freezing rain gradually throughout the night, and it's deeper moisture and more warmth coming in throughout the night. So that means more rain overnight. And then tomorrow, more of that heavy rain coming in from the south. And that could push those rain gauge totals 1.5 to almost 2 inches of rain across our viewing area. So let's take a look at the future track. It starts off about 9 o'clock. And it probably is pushing our temperature up a little too quick. But either way, we get to around 11 o'clock. Here's the overall projection. And you can see a couple of things. Look how the wind flow is starting to come in now from more that southeast direction. And it starts pushing the temperatures up just a little bit. So we start seeing at least more and more areas seeing rain as opposed to freezing rain. No more of that glaze showing up on exposed objects or in the trees, but not everybody. There'll still be some spots still. Higher elevations not noted here, but still areas at or below freezing, still having issues, while others comfortably into the low and mid 30s and not as much of an issue. And then we go into the pre-dawn hours, and you're going to have temperatures flip-flopping just a little bit. Some coming up, some may go back down a degree or two. So even during the overnight hours, still some pockets there, some freezing rain. But eventually, after sunrise tomorrow, you get around 8 o'clock, everybody should be, at least from a model perspective, above freezing. It's going to be a cold, breezy, rainy morning, and then rain just kind of carries over the rest of the night, rest of the day. This takes us around lunchtime, Sunday, very heavy rain, and then on into the afternoon hours. We get on the back edge of that rain, 3:45, and mainly rain. It won't be cooling off just yet. That really cold air starts to arrive Sunday night. Windy, cold, a few flurries may fly around as snow showers here, Cherahelle, Skyway area, and up to the Great Smoky Mountains. But this is our problem. Early Monday morning, then water running off, a little bit of black ice in spots to watch for. Rest of Monday, look at that. Look at that high, only into the 20s. So brutally cold. Wind chills early Monday morning, single digits, a few spots as low as near zero. So very, very cold by then. The other thing to watch for tonight, wind gusts. And I'll show you the current wind gust coming up in a second, but at least through the night tonight, and this is showing after midnight. This is just after midnight. Those wind gusts picking up from the south. So again, it'll do a couple of things. If you have any ice accumulation in trees, especially at higher elevations, that may shake loose a couple of tree limbs, cause some power outages. And even the wind gust alone could cause a power outage. But that'll also be transporting in warmth, more warming aloft, more warming at the surface. So that might help the situation, mix the air a bit and keep the temperatures climbing a bit above freezing. But strong wind gusts can be possible through the night, 25, 30 miles an hour, a little stronger at higher elevations all the way through tomorrow morning. So kind of windy at times during the night. Bit of a break after the morning, and then when the main cold air starts to arrive Sunday afternoon, the wind picks back up 15 to 20, and it starts ushering in that really cold air. And then those bitter cold wind chills on Monday morning. This is just a map trying to guesstimate where most power outages could be. I'll check real quickly. I don't think we've got a major power outage issue at the moment. There wasn't a couple of hours ago. I'll check just to be sure here. Let's see. Nah, there's very minimal outages at the moment, at least from the EPB perspective in Chattanooga. But this shows you again. This shows again higher terrain being most susceptible to power outages. So that shows your highest risk there, where icing could be a bit more through the night, and then with the winds causing some of that. Now, again, as far as the icing issues, the red indicates very minimal. Okay, there may be still minimal areas we get a little bit of icing in the valley locations. Some hardly just rain. Okay, but the purple's where you really need to pay attention. It kind of gets into that area of concern, and this again hugs the higher terrain. Okay, you got Pigeon Mountain here, Lookout Mountain here, Sand Mountain back here. So in these elevated areas where it may last a little while longer, more stubborn to get above freezing. The reason why icing may last a little longer during the night, and then during the day tomorrow, just kind of wash it away with a very heavy amounts of rain coming in. And again, from an impact scale, most of us are going to be in this minimal category. Okay. I think higher elevations will vary tenth to quarter, maybe a little over quarters. You're kind of in this range where there's going to be some little tree damage and some scattered outages there, but it all depends on the length of time that we have that icing. The shorter duration, the lower the category we're going to be. Lasting longer, of course, the higher the scale you go. So we hope to stay in that low to minimal category, but we're watching that throughout the nighttime hours and watching it very closely. Rainfall totals through Saturday and Sunday getting pretty high out there, 1.5 to 2.5 overall. All that falling during the day tomorrow, and really washing all the salt and sand off the road. It's been very beneficial, though, and I appreciate the crews for doing that. They did a great job, helped things out today, especially that early round of sleet and snow. And here's the 7-day. I want to point out a couple of things. We got 3 days of weather alert days because each day has got a different reason why. So Sunday, pre-dawn hours, again, the icing in areas, then it transitions to heavy rain and big temperature jump into the mid-40s. Some of the higher elevations may stay upper 30s, breezy, but I think there's going to be quite a jump in the valley. Then we go downward. And, of course, a little bit of black ice early Monday morning. Temperatures in the teens, highs below freezing. So we're going to go through an extended period below freezing for a while. Temperature Tuesday morning near 9. And we're going to stay, this is the average high and low. We're going to stay well below that throughout the week. And mornings bitterly cold into the teens. Of course, here, that's dipping into pipe bursting type weather. So got to be aware of that. So each day, something a little bit different here and there. But overall, here again are the headlines for the next several hours during the night. We will see a slow, gradual transition from freezing rain and rain to mainly rain as overnight temperatures slowly rise. What you don't see is the word right here, slowly, in varying times and amounts, okay? Because again, just a small change in temperatures from icy to wet. And then eventually it goes from heavy rain into Sunday, black ice early Monday, bitter cold into next week. One more quick check of the temperatures, the 8 to 8:30 time frame temperatures. Here's where we stand. South of the state line is climbing above freezing. North of the state line, we're still below freezing. So it's going to be a gradual changeover during the night as temperatures gradually rise. We're waiting on that. It's a slow process, but hopeful that that will occur. And again, the radar view shows you again, just so when you look at this, or if you look at it on our app, when you see this pink and red shading, it indicates where you're seeing mainly freezing rain. And again, if you look out the window, it's just liquid rain falling. It just freezes on contact to surfaces that are below freezing. Everybody else with green represents mainly rain. Okay. Let me look at some of your comments here. Hello, Candace. Thanks for watching. Hello, Brenda. Says it's 32 there in Lafayette. Hello, Robin. Elliott. Thanks for watching. James, yes, for the most part, wet this evening. Saudi Daisy to Chattanooga. The roads have been treated, but again, keep it slow and use caution. Bridges, overpasses that are not insulated, if they're near freezing, could be slippery. So just be careful driving if you have to, okay? Glad you asked that question, though. Hello, Ashley, watching from Calhoun, Tennessee. Thank you, Joycelyn. Appreciate that. Thank you, Christine. Hello, Judy from Cleveland. Hello, Todd from Sail Creek. Jordan said their HVAC unit has ice on it. Yeah, we need to get rid of that, don't we? All right. I appreciate everybody for watching, all your comments here. Let's see. Angie says Ottawa 31 most of the day, currently holding with light rain, which, of course, in this case, would be freezing rain. Hello, Lisa from Chickamauga. Neighbor growing up. Hope you're doing well. Hello, Brooke says it's raining in Ringgold. Hello, Zach from Cleveland. Hello, Peggy watching from Whitfield County. Hello, Donna in Ottawa. Thomas asking for about the heavy rain in Ringgold. Thomas, I think the heavy rain, it'd be more moderate through the night, moderate and windy, but the really heavy stuff is during the mid to late stage in the morning and into the afternoon on Sunday. Forrest, good question. Forrest says, why is the airport reporting light rain when it's 30 there? Well, because it's falling as rain. That's an automated surface observation, computerized, so it's seeing that as rain. But of course, when it hits the surface, it's freezing as freezing rain. So yes, that's a good question. It is falling as rain. That's what the surface observation notices, but at 30, it would be freezing rain. Good question. Yeah, it's that. Lisa says South Megs 29. Hello to the Edgemans watching in Dayton. Freezing rain in the Cottonport area of Decatur. And Crystal said there's ice hanging from my house in Alabama. Jimmy says 32 in Chickamauga. Hello, Betty from Cleveland. All right, my friends. That's an update for now. Be sure to join us. We're going to have more updates throughout the night. We're, of course, going to be on the air. We'll have more updates on Fox Chattanooga coming up in a little while. I got to do some on-air updates here in about 30 minutes. So you can watch on air. And then, of course, News Channel 9 at 11 will be delayed. We have NBA on tonight. So our News Channel 9 11 will be live probably around 11:30 at the earliest. So that'll be giving us a good time to see what's happening with temperatures, if they're rising yet or not, and what areas are still seeing that freezing rain and freezing to services. But by all means, folks, just stay safe tonight. If you're at a place you're going to be for the rest of the night, just stay there. Okay, it's bad enough just having wet roads. And for many people, it'll just be wet. But for others, it'll be icing for a little while. And that brings up that concern. So we'll be watching this very carefully and keeping you updated. Just stay safe, stay warm. Thanks for watching. We'll have more updates during the night.